Hey guys, welcome back to the Elementalmaker. Today I got a pretty cool project leading up from the forge burner we built previously. It is currently colder than a witch's tit here in the northeastern United States, but we got a project that is going to warm things up. So let's get these packages cracked open and see what's inside. Oh yeah. Can you read that? Stuff is called Satanite, made from the ground up grundle cheese of Satan himself. Withstands crazy high temperatures. I forget the number off the top of my head, but this is going to be the inner lining of our forge. This is what's going to give us a long service life out of a very inexpensive forge to build. Oh, it's fucking heavier than I thought. Oh yeah. That is the kind of blanket that tucks you in at night. Makes you feel all warm and cozy. Beautiful. And cheap. Stuff's right off Amazon. Dirt cheap. I think it was like $100 for this huge roll. This, I could make 10 forges out of this stuff. Holy shit. That's a win. Between these two components, maybe about $140 in materials. Helium tank, got it for free. You could use a propane tank. Obviously, granted, make sure it's empty before you start cutting into it. Flush it out a few times. But this is going to be great. Looks like I already marked the tank. That must have been some time ago. But I've had this planned for quite some time. So let's move ahead with cutting the tank. And we're going to make some modifications to it to make it a little more attractive for what we're doing. These handles are going to be nice. We'll put a vent hole right in the top. Cut out the lid. We'll put some legs on it, hopefully. This is going to be a good project. So in a previous video, quite a few people were kind of losing their shit because I used a galvanized flare fitting here. I'm going to show you how to remedy that real quick, but just as an aside, like, a lot of people out there on YouTube love to tell you how smart they are. And oh my god, that's galvanized, you're a fucking idiot, you're gonna kill yourself and give yourself zinc fume poisoning, blah blah blah. This is intended to be used outside. I'm not worried about zinc poisoning. I'm not gonna get zinc poisoning. I'm not gonna stand right over the metal foundry I'm building and intoxicate myself with zinc. That being said, if any of you guys are using this indoors for a propane forge burner, there is that hazard of zinc poisoning, and because of that, I should have probably warned it in the video a bit. But if you're working with that kind of stuff, that's probably something you should hopefully know. So here we got some good stuff. Muriatic acid. What I'm gonna do. Now this stuff will give you poisoning. It smells to the freaking high heavens. And they call it muriatic. That's just trade name or some shit. I don't know the old folk name for it, but it's 32% hydrochloric acid. It's 20 bomb, which is some old measurement. Who the hell knows? But what we're going to do is just strip the zinc coating off, turn it into zinc chloride. The HCl will strip it away, release some hydrogen gas, and you get to see that all happening. Now I'm going to slowly lower it in there because I want to prevent this from overflowing. But you can see that zinc's already gone. It is that quick. And it reeks of hydrochloric acid in here. Which I'm not breathing in directly, but I can smell a bit of fume going on. Leave it in there for a minute. So that's probably done. The aggressive bubbling's done. Zinc is gone. That quick. It's that easy. I'm gonna go dunk this under the sink a few times, and then give it a nice little coat with some like VHT flame-proof paint. So, and it'll be ready to go, ready for service. There we go. Nice, clean flare fitting, totally stripped of all the galvanization. No more zinc on her. Where is that fume coming from? Alright, there's still a little HCl left in there. I gotta go dunk it under the sink a couple more times. But now, what's pretty wild about this is it'll form a rust coating super, super quick as soon as it dries off. So, you've probably been able to see it. As it's drying off, it's forming a super thin coat of iron oxide on it. Pretty amazing how quick the oxygen attacks raw iron. Just realized I got the glove on the wrong hand. There we go, guys. No more worries about zinc poisoning. Boom. Done. And it won't even rust that bad now because it's coated with cheap flame-proof paint. It's good stuff. It'll last a while. So I got my marks. You can probably see them better here, little guys. But I'm just going to use a piece of tape to follow them all around. Doesn't have to be the most accurate thing in the world. We're not going for, you know, tooth thou tolerance here. Got my vibrator in my pocket. Popular man tonight. And we'll try to make them meet, because why not? Perfection, right? So that'll give us a nice guide to follow, and we'll chop it straight along there. So I'm just gonna pop outside and cut this sucker off. Got the cutoff wheel on the old DeWalt here. But one thing to not screw around with are these angle grinders. They, especially with the cutoff wheels, I've seen more of these things freaking fly apart than I can count. And when they grenade, they freaking have some force to them. My buddy sliced his hand. Well, he didn't slice his hand. This thing flew off and just got him real good. So don't screw around. If it hit your face, it would be devastating. Get a good proper face shield. These are one instrument that really scares the shit out of me. And I mess with a lot of dangerous stuff, but these scare the crap out of me. So I'm gonna go outside. It's dark. I probably won't be able to get video. Probably come back. Top will be off, and we will proceed. So got them split. Not a perfect cut, but you can see it's close enough. It's good enough. So I'm just gonna drill a hole through here. And I'm debating on whether to drill the hole for the side now or after the insulating wool is in place. This is wrong in so many ways, but we'll see if it works. There goes my face. Doing it downside up might be a little bit better. Can at least get some positive traction off the bottom there. Get it lined up. Alright. There's probably a way that is a million times easier and safer to do that, but I was determined to get that done. Don't repeat that. I gotta think that through. There's gotta be a better way. A little piece of steel got mangled. But we have a nice vent hole up here. Kept the handles intact. That's a nice feature. Not too bad. So at this point I'm gonna just use some scrap steel I have here to kind of just weld up a little base for it. I think this is just junk from Lowe's or Home Depot, but I have 29.5 inches of steel left, so 7 times 4, 28. So if I do a base 7 by 7 by 7, I can do that. and then I'll just tack weld it onto the bottom and hit it with a little spray of something to stop it from rusting. This is my trusty old hard drive magnet. This is my machine square. I usually keep that away from the welder. Nice little bead. That'll do it. Man, it's alright. Kinda shitty. That'll make for a nice base though. Good, sturdy. Don't have to worry about the forge tipping over. Wow, that's spitting. I'm about to leave that as is. I mean, it'll hold. No worries about that. Sure is ugly. At least it's a nice robust stand. That ain't moving anyway. Good. So we got these suckers cut out. Got the hole in our lid here, and you can probably see I've got pretty steady hands in the Michael J. Fox sense of the word. Phrase rather. But what we'll do now is cut out some of that insulating blanket, and we're going to use, or at least my thought is, we're going to use the Satanite to actually kind of glue our blanket to the steel surface. So I'm going to try to rough this up in some way, and then get a real thin layer of Satanite, and then put the insulating wool on top of that, and probably use some kind of weight or something to keep it glued in place while the Satanite's curing. But we'll figure it out as we go. So got this piece cut out, well, rough piece cut out, and I'm just going to trim it, maybe leaving an extra centimeter of material, because we are going to make it deflect a little bit to get into the headspace here, or fill up the headspace, however you want to say it. Alright, so that doesn't get caught on too many of the edges here. That should fit in there pretty nice. Don't know if that's enough overhang. I want that to sit pretty flush up there. Don't know if that's going to do it for me. I might cut out a little more. Yeah, I'm going to say as a no-go. This will, no worries, we're not going to put this piece to waste. That will work perfectly in the bottom chamber here. That'll work real nice in there. Yeah, I don't want to stuff it down there because I'm going to use a slightly smaller piece to kind of fill the bottom in there, get a nice flat surface. So I have a kind of smaller one, and then this guy as the floor. And I might maybe put a little piece of fire brick or something just to have a hard flat surface for the stuff to rest on. But yeah, stuff is really nice to work with too. I was expecting it to be horrific, but it's I mean, if you've ever worked with fiberglass insulation, this stuff beats the hell out of it every day. It's nice. All right, round two. I guess I'll go for maybe an inch. If metric doesn't work, why not switch to imperial? So let's leave an inch. Inch-ish might be a better way of wording this. That looks a little more promising. Let's see how she stuffs in there. I think that'll actually work pretty nice. With a coating of Satanite in there to actually grab it, and then kind of let it dry in there. It'll be nice and fused, and then we can just run the blade along the top, get a nice flat surface. as flat as the Michael J. Fox guts. And then we'll cut this sucker out. We'll be left with a nice lid there. Good insulating lid. What I think I'm actually going to do is give it a light coat of that VHT flameproof or Rust-Oleum high heat paint, just so I don't cause it to rust with the Satanite, because it's a water-based mix. So just going to rough up the surface. Alright, got the can of cum gutter, also known as instant cancer in a can. Got the flameproof. Give that a little bit. Get rid of any grease residues or whatever else might be lurking in here. Alright. Wow, sucker was nasty dirty. One more quick spray on. So off camera I'm going to do the same thing to the big lower section of the Foundry forge thing, whatever, just to get it cleaned up and sprayed. Alright, pretty even coat there. Not going to complain about that. There we go. One of these is for one of these. One of these for the other. There we go. So, let that dry up, and I will mix up some Satanite. Got to look up the mixing instructions for that. 5 pounds should be enough to do basically using it as the glue here, and then once everything's set, I'll probably give it an initial firing just to test it out, but then I'm going to coat the inside of the Foundry with the Satanite as well. That'll keep everything nice and rigid and stop this stuff from losing its integrity. It'll keep it nice and sturdy. So I got the Satanite out of its package here, and I wonder what this stuff's made out of. I see a lot of refractive little stuff. I wonder if that's silica sand. Good thing is it doesn't seem to be very dusty. I'm not wearing an N95. Probably don't need that much actually. Say to mix it to the consistency of sour crumb. So I'm going to go for a nice sour cream consistency here. That way you can spread it on your tacos. Just going for a nice even coating here. Something for the wool to really stick to. I think that's pretty good. That looks nice. Let's just run it like that. Screw the wool. Alright. I'm just trying to make sure it contacts the entire inner wall of that lid so we can get a good bond everywhere. Gotta wonder what the composition is here though. So many times I've tried making my own refractory mixes, and I mean using silica sand or, you know, obviously Portland cement ain't the best thing, but fire clay and perlite, I just can't get something repeatable with professional results. So that's why I moved to the wool here. I was really kind of leaning on doing a totally homemade refractory, but my results over the course of years have not been that great. I haven't gotten anything that can survive, you know, 20, 30 firings, whereas this should be, I don't want to say a lifelong tool, but this should last, you know, a number of years and quite a few firings. The big plan with this is I've been saving a ton of aluminum cans. So I'm hoping that in a future video we can melt those down. We're going to make some magnesium, and then in another video, someone actually beat me to it on YouTube, but I was hoping to make a AR-15 lower out of aluminum cans. someone already got a video out there. It's pretty darn good if you search for soda can AR-15 or something like that. But yeah, someone beat me to it, but cool video nonetheless. Alright, let's I'm just going to repeat pretty much everything I did here for the bottom. I'll probably walk you through a bit of that too, because I'm going to do a couple things different maybe, but this seems good. Happy with it. So we've got the lower section here. You can see I cleaned it, hit it with the comb gutter, used the black VHT flame-proof, and I've cut out 2 sections. This was the circle we made earlier. And you can see here, this is going to be my lower one, just to kind of take up some of that roundness. That's about 8 inches in diameter. So I'm going to set that down in the bottom there. Let's see, pretty loose in there because we're just looking to kind of make up for that bottom. I'm going to put this sucker in, going for a pretty tight fit. This might be a little too tight, but we'll see how it flattens out pretty nice on the bottom. That works good. And that one was about 10.5 inches in diameter. Alright, so we got the bottom in there, and what we're going to do is cut out a square section that'll wrap around the inside of this. So our diameter is 9.5, 9 times 3.14, or 9.5 times 3.14. We're looking at basically 30. Should be pretty darn close there. And so 30 by 8.25, and we'll be good. So pop that out and cut again. I'll give you guys the final measurement here. These crunchy scissors. Oh, I swear these things sounded good at the beginning of this. Alright, so what are we at? 28. Alright, that looks about right. I think that's what we're going for. Alright, I like that. I like that a lot. So, I don't think I'm going to bother cementing the bottom down. I'm going to leave that in. I'm just going to mix up the little bit of Satanite in here with some water again, paint the inside, and stick this inner liner to it. Alright, let's get the wool in there. You got the teeth made of wool. If you know the movie, comment below. Nice. So, I'm going to let those sit overnight to cure, hopefully, or at least dry up. The Satanite won't cure without a lot of heat. Hopefully the inner lining here won't ever get hot enough to actually cure, but just hot enough to act as a glue. Alright, so it's been a day. This stuff is dried on. I think it's pretty well glued to the underlying steel. So at this point we're going to cut the excess and then drill our entry hole. And after that, everything's flush. We got our hole drilled. We're going to coat it all in Satanite and call it a day. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Looks good. Let's get that hole drilled. I think both of my batteries are dying. Oh, these poor things. They don't want to go through any more abuse. I don't blame them. Wow. Okay, we're freaking through. Alright, got the workbench a little cleaned up. And now that we're all clear, I'm going to mix up a fair amount in this Satanite here. Yeah, it goes on pretty nice. It's not too shabby. Gonna need a lot of this shit for the lower section of it though. Holy smokes. Just wrapped up coating the top. It actually only took about 1.5 cups of the Satanite. Pretty cool. Nice uniform coating. I missed a few little areas. I don't think that'll affect performance. If it does, I'll just give it a quick coat over once again. Got the hole down here all coated. Just kind of get it on your fingers and give it the delicate touch. Your projects love it when you know, give them that kind of attention. They bond with you really well. All right, guys, it's been a day since we applied the Satanite here, and I actually already fired up the Foundry for a few minutes, and it hardened everything up. I forgot to catch it on video, so I apologize. But as you can see, Satanite's pretty hardened. Has a bit of a hollow sound to it, but it's just because it's a really thin coating. Maybe I will put a second layer on at some point, but for now I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to show you guys the forge in operation, so let me get the propane tank going. Alright, I'm just going to run it really low because I am inside. It's way too cold to go outside. I do have the garage door open for ventilation. Let's see. Anything else I'm forgetting? I just have the burner kind of leaned in at an angle. It's not going to fall out. It's pretty secure there. And for the first couple runs, I'm going to do really light burns anyway. Alright, that's a little better. Didn't have the regulator up enough. So as you can see here, forge is running quite nicely, and I should be able to grab it with the wrong hand. When I tilt it, you see the flame swirls pretty nicely in there. That's exactly what we're looking for when we actually have the forge in use. Lower that real quick again. So since everything's pretty new here, I want to give it a couple relatively light burn-ins. You can see one really dumb thing I overlooked. I should have taken the paint off of the forge, because where the lip doesn't completely line up because of the you know, shaky cut there. Some of the flame did get through and actually get some of the paint there. And I'm sure, you know, after I run it for a while, it would probably heat up the tank to the point where it is gonna burn away the paint, and it just smells terrible. So if you guys replicate this, definitely make sure when the tank is still bare and you just cut the section, I would just stoke like a little bonfire or something in here, just to burn the paint off it, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm probably going to end up just using the burner and blasting the outside of this to just burn all that paint right off of it, so it's not anything I have to worry about anymore. And at that point, I'll just hit it with some of the flame-proof paint again. Just get a nice matte black color, not have to worry so much about rust and all that. But we have a working forge. It's not quite up to heat yet in there, but I'm sure if I, whoops, turned it the wrong way, you can actually see so I think because there's still a tiny bit of internal moisture. Oh yeah, you can see a flame kind of poking out the side there and there. That's all right. By the way, I do have several fire extinguishers ready to go at a moment's notice, and the propane tank is about 15 feet away. So just to let you guys know, I'm not completely batshit crazy. Shocked the fire alarm hasn't gone off yet, but that's a good thing, I guess. So some of the upcoming projects with this, one of the first projects I do is probably going to be making magnesium. It's a 50-50 alloy of aluminum and magnesium. And the benefit to that alloy is it's super, super brittle. So once you make it, you can easily crush it and turn it into a powder, which is super useful. Alright, so that freaking thing always rudely interrupts me. But anyway, so the magnesium, super easy to powder. Same process we did in the ball mill with aluminum powder there. So if you haven't seen that video, check that out. I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll probably also give you guys a link to some of the tools I used in this build. I mean, welding is pretty optional. The bottom of this isn't even remotely hot yet. It's barely even lukewarm, honestly. Yet it is brightly glowing in there. So I really don't think the feet would be necessary. The big benefit to having the stand welded on there is that you're not going to have to worry about it tipping over by accident. It's, you know, well planted. Whereas if you just have the original feet on there, it might be a little more prone to tipping. So, and there's easy ways to overcome that. You could just cast the bottom in some plaster of Paris, get a nice flat base on there, and you're golden. Nothing to worry about. So it looks like it's going to be way too easy to make magnesium with this thing, because that thing reaches temp really quick, and it's amazing how cool the outside of this thing stays. I mean, it's pretty hot now, but it's still touchable and it's not roasting your hands. Down at the bottom here, I mean, down here it's like barely warm. Up here it's pretty warm. It's still easily grabbable. Pop that sucker off. Look at that. That is a hot forge. Or a foundry, rather, I apologize. In a future video, though, I'm either going to be making a smaller forge just specifically for knife making, or I'm going to figure out a way to convert this into a forge. But honestly, I think at this point, maybe leave the foundry and build a separate forge specifically for that. Maybe just something I can swap the burner out in, and we'll be good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed the build. If you replicate it, please be a little safer than I was with the drill press. I didn't have my cordless drill at the time. It was at a renovation I'm doing, so I unfortunately had to use the drill press. But looking back in hindsight, that was really dangerous. Should not have done that. So don't try to replicate that. Definitely burn the paint off beforehand, because it smells and sets off fire alarms and is no fun to deal with, and I'm gonna have to do it anyway. So get it done early on. Just cut the top, have a little bonfire in there, all the paint will burn right off. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like my channel enough to subscribe, and have a good one. I'll see you on the next video.